All right. Hey, Johnny, this is Button making a video about what teams you can use. So I remember you saying that your main team is essentially Martha, Astaroth, Yasmine, and a couple others, but that's your three main. And actually, one of the best attacking teams we ever had was those three: Martha, Yasmine, Astaroth, and Heidi. And then the fifth hero was either Sebastian, Nebula, or Isaac, depending on what the defense had. And the reason why that team is really good, well, there's a really good synergy. Surprisingly, nobody would ever say this, or you wouldn't see this in any other site. There's amazing synergy between Heidi and Yasmine. And the reason why that is well, first of all, Heidi gives Yaz even more dodge. So she becomes even dodgier and can flip around even faster. But they are completely opposite in the way they do damage. So Heidi attacks the entire team, the entire opposing team, all five heroes. And he throws whatever that is, the flower or whatever, and it damages all the heroes, like, say, maybe we'll just pick a number. He damages them all 20,000. But the problem is, when you get down to 4, 3, 2, 1, and finally one hero, and he throws his thing, he only damages that hero 20,000. He doesn't damage them 100,000, right? So when he had the 5, he damages them all 20,000. That's a total of 100,000 for the 5, right? Well, when he gets down to the 1, it's not like all that extra damage gets applied to the 1. It's just the 20,000. So he's really bad at attacking one hero. So, he's my main hero, and the problem is he can't kill Martha at the end of battles. She heals too fast. He can't kill her. He does a ton of damage to her, but she just heals it right back. Now, Yasmine works the opposite. She only attacks one hero at a time, right? She doesn't attack all 5. She just attacks one. So, and she assassinates them. She's pretty good at it, right? She can usually do it in 2 or 3 tries, maybe 4, depending on how much armor or how much health her target has. So at the end of battles, she can kill Martha really easy. And so the way it works is, when the battle begins, Heidi does a ton of damage to all 5 heroes, while Yasmine goes and kills someone. And the two of them working together, they compensate each other for their weaknesses, right? Yaz only attacks 1 and not all 5. So what Heidi can't do, Yaz can do. What Yaz can't do, Heidi can do. And they're both dodge heroes, so they give each other dodge. So they augment each other in that respect. And like I said, this is a very effective attack team. It's kind of an easy team to counter on defense, sort of. So for the Grand Arena, I would make that your third team, the one they can't see, so they can't plan to counter it for easily. So that would be the first team I would suggest working on. The second team, I think everyone should have a Polaris team, because a Polaris seems to be the future. And of course, you remember, I think Syl's been talking to you, and he showed you the team with well, I'll just put it. Now, Syl's team is some sort of variation of this, right? I don't remember if he uses Aurora as his tank, or Rufus, or someone else, but Aurora is the best tank to use with Polaris. Then he has Amira, and then he has Nebula boosting Amira, and then he has Heidi in there. And this is a really good team. I mean, you could build this if you want. There's nothing wrong with it. But you probably wouldn't want to use Heidi, because Heidi would be in the team I just mentioned to you previously. But the team that I prefer is the one that I use. Now, unfortunately, it's not max, so I can't show you any max, but here it is right here. It's Aurora, Maya, Arachne, Polaris, and Thea. I noticed that you have all of those except Maya and Arachne on your top 25, but you really should have Arachne. She's just a devastating hero when you attack teams that don't have Sebastian in defense. I mean, anytime I attack somebody that doesn't have Sebastian, I just about always win. Now, you don't have Maya, but you could use Mojo instead. I debate all the time whether I should use Mojo with this team or Maya. My Maya's not very strong yet, whereas my Mojo is pretty good. So you could take out Maya and use Mojo on your team. And now notice this is an all magic team, right? All these heroes are magic based, so they should be vulnerable to Osh, right? Well, I'm going to show you this one fight I had. All right, here it is. And why should it be vulnerable to Isaac? Well, because Isaac, whenever anybody on the team takes magic damage, it charges Isaac, and then Isaac ultimates, and he does a ton of damage to the magic team, and he silences them. He silences all heroes from being able to use any magic skill, right? So he should be able to destroy, single-handedly should be able to destroy this team. But if you, obviously you see here that he lost. And this is almost a max Osh team. It's like just a hair under 1 million. And my team is 700,000 total power, and I crushed him. And let's look at the fight, if I can find it here. There we go. And this is why I was saying you should use Arachne. Polaris was made for Arachne and for mages. So Arachne, normally Arachne would be, her stuns would be blocked by Sebastian, and so he would render her useless out there. But Polaris, one of her skills, lowers Sebastian's ability, so he's not able to block Arachne. So even though Sebastian's here and should be canceling out the team, Polaris nullifies him. And so you'll see Arachne jump in and stun Isaac and take him out of the fight. And also, Ju should be killing me because my two backline heroes are not very powerful. You notice they're both like under 80k or something. So you see Polaris is 88k and Thea is 80. So he should be able to kill them really easily. But of course, Arachne's going to keep him stunned. Right? See, boom, and you see the spinning. Their heads are spinning, and they're not doing much. So Arachne's, you see how they're all spinning and dizzy right now? They're not doing anything. They're not able to fight. And this is how most of my fights go with this team. The other team is stunned into silence and unable to do anything. You see Ju keeps turning around and fighting his own guys because Mara is able to mind control him. And I just slowly disintegrate them. And I'll just speed this up because it's taking a long time. But you see, it's an easy win. My team is barely touched. And I guess I don't kill Isaac here in the end, but I don't need to. That's a really good defensive team. And I just wanted to put this back up again and just to explain a little bit of the mechanic that's going on here. So one of the reasons why this is so effective is that Polaris extends, she elongates the time of stuns that Arachne and Thea do. Well, Thea silences Arachne stuns, and she elongates them. I think it's like by an extra 40% or something. So Arachne will stun them for longer, Thea will silence them for longer. And the reason why I use Mara, is that enemies hit while they are blinded, stunned, silenced, slowed down, or charmed take triple damage. chance to deal triple damage is lowered. Okay, that doesn't matter. So she does right now, she does about 33,000 damage to them, all 5 heroes. So when they're stunned by Arachne or silenced by Thea, that's why I said to use Thea, because she can silence them, is that it stacks damage with Mara. And of course, Mara does magic damage, right? And Polaris, when her skill is active, she increases the damage by 140%. So that magic is amplified even more. Sometimes I see her do about 70,000 damage to like Astaroth or some of the other tanks. So she's supposed to do like 10 or 11,000 there, but she ends up doing 60, 70,000 damage when she's stacked with Polaris and a stun. So that's why here, well, actually that's not she doesn't do a lot of damage there, but I've got other pictures of her doing a ton of damage. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, like here. Oh, another thing, this team is really good against Ishmael. It shuts Ishmael down. It crushes him. You see that's a 200k Ishmael that did nothing because my team just bashed him. I don't think I have the video for this, but you can see Mara did 930,000 damage. Right, that's a lot for a pet, and she's mind controlling these guys to make them turn around and fight their own team. So her effect is more than just her damage. But you see, there's just an incredible amount of synergy in this team. And like I said, you don't need to use Maya. You can use Mojo instead. You've already got him on your list, and I think Mojo would be fine. Now, for a third team, you probably want to have a Dante team, right? Because Dante's the best, the most feared hero in the game, right? And if you're going to go with Dante, I mean, you could do like a Fafnir type team, like the way Yeakel does. But what I would suggest is just using the meta team. It's been around for a long time. People are beginning to learn how to beat it. But the meta team is the meta team for a reason. It's a really good team. It's difficult to beat. You have to have the right heroes. You have to know what you're doing. And so as a third team, it's great. You're going to create a lot of matchup problems for people if you use these 3 teams, I think. And the meta team is Dante, Rufus is tank, Dorian, Iris, and probably Sebastian, just to prevent your team from being affected by control heroes, right? So it's basically this team, but Heidi, remember Heidi's with your Astaroth team, and we're going to take Fafnir out, and we're just going to put Rufus in there as tank, and Sebastian in there to help defend it, and that's your meta team, and that's your third team. And these 3 teams would be, I think, very effective. And the second team I told you, the Polaris team, that's my own creation. You won't find that anywhere on the internet, I don't think. I have seen other people talk about it in chats I've had with other people, but I haven't seen any videos about it. So I'll go ahead and take a snapshot of those teams. Right, so here's the snapshot, and I put the pet on top. I don't know if Albus is the best. I mean, people usually use Axel for the meta team, but you're going to want to use Axel for your Martha, Astaroth, Heidi, Yasmine team. So probably Albus would be the next best pet to use for this. And of course, this team uses Mara. Right, so these are the 3 teams I would suggest. Yeah, there it is.